Welcome back to the Open Mic Podcast. I'm so glad that you're here. Today's podcast is brought to you by Mechanics Bank. Mechanics Bank is here to help you with everyday life, whether that's buying a home, renovating a kitchen, or paying for college. They have the products and, more importantly, the people to help you breathe easy and say, oh boy, that's better. Check out mymechanics.com, call or visit today to see how banking can be better for you. Mechanics Bank is an equal housing lender. As I was saying, welcome back to the Open Mic Podcast. Today I'm joined by Ryan James of the Unlimited Production Northern Ohio Music Group Company. How are you doing today, Ryan?
I'm doing great. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. I'm so glad to have you here. You are actually the producer and sort of voice of the company?
Yes, you would. I'm like a jack of all trades. Basically call me the CEO of the music, production. And Unlimited Production Northern Ohio, UPNO for short. We kind of, come from, the names kind of switched throughout the years, but we started off as Up North. And Up North, we did a lot of things. I myself did a lot of things. I threw the hip-hop explosion out at the Richland County Fairgrounds back in the early 2001 through 2005. We did a lot of big things out there, and so what we're lately we've been evolving throughout the years, and took a small hiatus. Life happens, and but I recently recharged my battery, and I got with some of my artists, and my main artist ZUC, who we're going to talk a lot about today. He was like my right-hand man, right by my side, ready to go, and along with my producers James Williams, Ruben Miles, and we've been working together for 20 years, and James just actually did his gospel set here, and
he put on a great show.
Oh,
I
great
think Gospel
show.
Night was probably one of the best nights that we've had, and maybe the history of the Richland Source Newsroom After Hours. I just was blown away. I thought Frank Boyd was fantastic, and James Williams is such a great voice, but also really knew how to put on a show and got everyone clapping and cheering. It was. I mean, after the show was over, I looked at everyone and I said, "I hope you're glad that you came, because it's never going to be as impressive as what we saw tonight."
It was nice.
So, I mean, and not to put down anyone. As soon as I got done with Frank Boyd's show, he came up to me and said, "Hey, thanks again for putting us on tonight. We understand how high the caliber of musicians are." And I think that's true. And not to toot our own horn too much, but I really put an emphasis in if you're asked to play, it's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
And just the level of talent that was elevated that night was second to none in my opinion. We've had some fantastic shows. But collectively, the representation of gospel music was fantastic. And I also would say that the variety of gospel music, because the difference between James and Frank's bands were very different, but both sort of showcased the fantastic level of gospel music. So I was very, very, very proud to have been able to have facilitated that show.
Oh yeah, it was a great night. It was definitely a great night. I had just got there about 10 minutes. I had just flew from work, and I told James on Messenger, I'm like, man, I said, Dub, what time you going on? And he was like, and he didn't answer. I said, oh, man. And as soon as we walked in, he was just coming off. I said, but I know he rocked it. That's
he really did. And he had his wife up there, too.
Oh, Brittany's awesome.
Which was, she's got a great voice. And she has a great smile.
Oh,
and so that really also sort of helped get the crowd into it.
Great vibe. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your main man,
ZUC.
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 Tell us a little bit about what he's doing, his projects, what he's done. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, ZUC is man. He's an awesome guy. He's a great, just overall, just artist. He's one of the lyricists that he's very grounded in his stance and what he stands on, and sometimes we've been lately discussing some of the things like the music we put out. And it's music that's Ruben Miles and James Williams himself. Like I said, I've worked with them over 20 years. We collectively as a unit. And the production that James, because he's a heck of a musician, the production that James and Ruben have provided for ZUC on his latest EP, Z, which is on all platforms and stuff right now, is top notch, tier like level one, the best. I mean, and it's called Sean to ZUC, the artist. His real name is LaShawn, but it's caused him to come out on a different level of topics. From some of the things on his album, on the EP, People, he takes that song and really creates off what James starts with the track and creates a real a song that you gotta kind of listen to. Now,
let's just pause for a second and talk to me a little bit. So both of these guys you're talking about earlier, you said they're in their 30s, so they've been making music for 20 years.
Yes.
Long time. So I feel like that's sort of a new how do we say this? It sort of makes you into a new artist, and that you're more confident with what you're able to do and what comes easily.
Exactly.
And so obviously I'm 26 years old. As a musician myself, that's not a place that I'm at yet, but I'm hoping to be there someday.
Yeah.
But talk to me a little bit about what that's sort of like, where you're finally comfortable with what you are.
Yes.
You have this audience that sort of appreciates everything that you're doing.
That's right.
And you sort of get to flex your wings out.
Yeah.
And you get to sort of take stands with what we'll talk about later with your the gun violence that goes on. And you can sort of, Taylor Swift has these political things that comes out with her fifth album.
Exactly.
Talk to me a little bit about what it's like for your musicians to be able to sort of reach this new sort of stepping stone and be able to sort of be the voice of the community that they've always wanted to be.
Well, one of the things about it is like it comes with levels in life.
Absolutely.
That we all came from. It's like, because once upon a time, like we were younger and we were wild and we experienced a lot of things, that having kids made us grow up.
Yeah, I mean, life makes you know better.
Yeah, it makes us know better. And then we were all, to the point where, I mean, we went from, possibly being the wild type of young men that could end up in bad positions like in prison or stuff like that, to working at a prison like I do myself. It's like some days I walk in there, I'm just like, and it's a testimony to just what I do. But as artists, what happened is like we changed with the times, and it was like the stuff that we could have talked about and stuff like that, like it's either been experienced or we bypassed it to another level because of our kids. We want to be more of a role model. So what he does is a lot of the things that he talks about, he stands firm on it. He's got songs that go all the way from, conditions with fathers. He talks about fathers that try to provide for their kids and how child support like sucks them dry. And he talks about issues like that. He talks about pharmacy. How the pharmacy issues and like pharmaceutical companies are like the biggest, distributor of medicine-based narcotics. And like he talked, but all in his same type of level, swag, his what he's talking about. And he stands firm on that. You can tell
what he's passionate
about.
Yes,
you could tell what he's able to make his stances on what he's passionate about. And still, people in the club would bob their head like it's that same mumble rap music, but not understand he's really talking to you about something.
Right.
That's like deep. And only the people who are like really listen to that, like, man, he's a different level.
So talk to me a little bit about that, because I think if you were to listen to, top 40 rap music or whatever, you have this real like hip hop culture sort of thing going on where it's like, hating on just like derogatory terms for women. There's gun violence. There's stealing. There's drug use. And what you're saying, the raps that your guys are doing are more or less about pharmaceutical companies are the reason why there's an opiate crisis.
Exactly.
Let's fucking do something about it.
Exactly. and that's what it is. And so I think ZUC has grown as an artist, because when you see like it, and he said it on another podcast with somebody else, that he don't consider himself a rapper. He considers himself an artist, and you know what I mean. And that's what he said, because he has stuff to talk about, and it's supposed to. He gives you a message, and the difference with that is like, now one thing I will say about him is he doesn't stray from his base. And it's crazy because a lot of people lately, when I've been kind of getting our music out to the community and stuff like that, and talking to people trying to, open up some exposure things, they say they was like, I love the music. But since a lot of them are taking on the hip hop platform as new, they were like, I don't know if they're ready for it. You know what I mean? Because they don't know if they're ready. And that's just because Mansfield, I feel, as a whole, has to get ready for it. Because it's something new to us that we're doing, and it's something new that we're trying to get on the plateau of a Cleveland and Columbus, where they have all these radio stations and all these artists and stuff in the city, and the music is the music. And I just think with Mansfield, it's a little bit different. But I think the main thing ZUC is doing is he's sticking to his guns, and he's not going to downplay what his message. Because I kind of feel like a lot of people, sometimes some of these people in the city, they'll do a function with kids and get up there and talk about how they run the streets and how how the hoes be all on them and how they, got trap houses and stuff. And I'm like, it's kids out here. You know that, right? It's kids out here, whatever. You may think because how you're saying it and the beat that's going on, like they don't pay attention, they're just dancing. But no, they're listening, and then they're going home and singing that same stuff and playing it. And it's like, we have kids. So our thing is we don't try to give you that hardcore message. If we know we got a hardcore message and something, we don't want to do it around no kids. We want to get it in a place with our age group and stuff like that and play it where it needs to be played.
Great. Let's play it right now.
All right.
This is America by ZUC. You want to just introduce it a little bit for
us?
Yeah,
this is a cut called America, and it's by ZUC. We shot the video here in Mansfield, and it's off the new Z, the EP album, available on Spotify, Apple Music, everything. Definitely check it out. There's definitely some good jewels in there.
Lifestyle, no need to apologize. You being judged by them same ones, they doing the same thing, they looking through sinners' eyes. We got the right to do what we want to, the right to say what we want to say, the right to go where we want to go. This is America. We in America, home of the brave and land of the free. I see a whole lot of slaves. They want us living on our knees, but we can't take one. And a nigga will not give you life, but he don't care to take one. They got these women content with living in that section they slum and take their sons down them same paths their daddy came from. They got their daughters shaking ass cause their vision is blind. And mommy trying to change her life, now daddy gotta move out. Cause job and family services won't pay for the house. They separate and conquer, that's a chess move. They destroying your mind and watching your flesh loose. Around that big oak tree, they got your neck loose, so your feet can never be planted. How you expect roots? We were stripped from our religion, so how you expect proof? We know about the Holocaust. What about all of us? What about Huey Newton, Rosa Parks on the bus? What would you be sorry for? You living your lifestyle, no need to apologize. You being judged by them same ones, they doing the same thing, they looking through sinners' eyes. We got the right to do what we want to. The right to say what we want to say. The right to go where we want to go. This is America. Segregation was devastating, they set us up. Cause after that they applied pressure, won't let it up. A lot of shit we invented, they took the credit for. How back child support fuck up your credit score. And you be dodging jail time like a matador. My caseworker called me a customer, I ain't mad at all. And threatened to lock a nigga up cause I ain't have it all. So when I snap and go crazy, I ain't have it all. And it was personal for me, I couldn't bag it all. Ain't seen my son since he was 2 and they ain't care at all. But still waters run deep and I can barely cross. I wear my feelings on my skin, how can I tear it off? This shit started at home, we got the signals crossed. And they was fishing the Wi-Fi, the pixels off. You paid a hell of a price, look how they ripped you off. Just to get some payback, no matter what it cost. What would you be sorry for? You living your lifestyle, no need to apologize.
When ZUC, when he gets to his, those parts where he may he may say something or a reference or a cuss word, or even, he may say, throw the N out there. He's not trying to like live up to the masses of that type of mumble rap stuff. I think it's almost him putting his anger and aggression on the track. So like a lot of people think of that as a bunch of derogatory, filthy type music. But like it's easy because I could just say, hey, let's do this for radio, and we know that. But a lot of stuff, like we didn't do this one for radio. We didn't do nothing. Like when we were in there recording, we didn't think radio because really it was raw how it is. I mean, we can go. I can, a lot of stuff. I'm gonna go back and we can go. We can do that. But like when he does the stuff he does, it's like people want to, we want people to feel where he's coming from. Like so. Like I want, he wants people to feel where he's coming from in that. And oh yeah, like I said, that right there is America. Like I said, once again, it's on Spotify and Apple Music, iTunes. Definitely grab that off the ZEP. That's America.
Cool. So what you were saying was just that, like, it's raw emotion.
Yeah, it's very raw emotion, and I don't want people to get that confused with like portraying a bad message. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's just like, because a lot of people, it's like they will portray it as, a bad message. Like people when we did the video here in Mansfield with people, we had his kids in there. He had his kids at the park, and we shot the video, and his kids, like he said all the time, his kids are his biggest fans. And by that being so, by its kids being his biggest fans, he makes sure like they know how he is, and so he makes sure like the message he tries to get across is something that not only like to let you know about how passionate he is, because when he's in people in the video, you see like what he's talking about, and then like it lets you know that what his format is. Like he's a father. He's a father, he's a worker, he's a taxpaying citizen like everybody else, but he's also a lyricist. So he has that platform, and I mean, and when it comes to hip hop, the style's there, the swag, my mother even told me, he was like, he has it all. He looked the part, he raps the part, he's got the swag like the part, and so when you got it, you got it. And that's one of the things that I like about him.
Great. So I believe on July 17th there was a collection of individuals from both the community and community sort of city leaders who gathered in the Mansfield City Council chambers and talked a little bit about the gun violence that's been going on. And
shout out to Don
I understand that you and ZUC were both there to speak a little bit about it.
Yes,
I actually have Carl Hunnell, who was the one who wrote the story for Richland Source. And I have a couple of things that I've highlighted, but if you just want to start off by talking to me a little bit about what you all were doing there and why you felt it was important to go, that'd be great.
Yeah, we first of all, like I said, definitely a shout out to Don Bryant for putting this event together. Police Chief Porch, Kay Osborne, other members of the council, Mayor Tim Thieker, all of them that were there in attendance, and Bridget Coles. And, it was definitely a good thing that needed to be discussed about. But what we decided, because when we first seen the invite about it come out, and ZUC hit me, was like, man, we got to be there. Because we've been kind of lately, we've been following Don a lot, just between social media and then having conversations with him. And actually, he came to ZUC's listening party at Costa's. And, we got some good photo ops, and we had a good discussion. And that's when he talked to ZUC himself. And I think he found out a lot about him, that he was more than just a rapper. And he actually talked about some stances, things like that. So when we got there, I decided that we need to be there because we're talking about the violence that's happened at some of the clubs and events and things that we are, people we deal with, like Steve, the owner from Costa's, and the guy at the Electric, we've been dealing with them.
Sure. And just to interrupt you for a quick second, for those who don't know what exactly Ryan is talking about, there were 2 incidents. One was in April, and then the other one, I believe, was the next month in May, where a shooting happened at the patio on Park Avenue West, and the other one was at the electric company.
Yeah.
No arrests have been made at the... Actually, I don't think arrests have been made at either one.
No.
I think I read
arrests.
just the other day that no arrests. Actually, I spoke with Keith Porch, the Mansfield chief of police, who told me that no arrests have been made in the patio shooting from April, and the electric company one, I don't think I've heard anything about that either.
That was July 4th, I think.
Yeah, I think you're correct.
Yep, 4th of July.
And there have been several other shootings on the Walker Lake Road, and then there's another one at a...
Was that South Park?
Yeah, well, I don't remember. I don't want to speak incorrectly.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do know that no one has died, although they have been put in the hospital.
Exactly.
But I believe there are no life-threatening issues.
Exactly.
Nonetheless,
Yeah.
gun violence is not awesome. And
Exactly.
it's something that I would prefer our city was not known for.
Yes.
Continue talking.
Yes. So when I decided to go down there, and me and LaShawn, and also Von Doon Robinson, which is another young upcoming artist that's been doing a lot of things, we decided to go down there and represent the hip hop community of Mansfield. By doing that is because we wanted to voice our opinion and let and kind of speak as the voice of the urban community, and the community where like a lot of people look at this violence coming from. So we wanted to speak on that level about those things. And so by us being there, Don gave us the platform. When we were going around to the community, we got to get up, and when we got up, me and ZUC got up and we spoke, and we talked about different things. I spoke about it's making people do, like, because of the past events and the shootings at the different clubs have kind of denied us to put on our showcases and things that I was looking to do that was going to better the community and get more awareness about some of the talent in the community. It made people shut away from it.
Talk to me a little bit about what you mean by better the community. I'm assuming that I know what you mean, but just for clarification.
Well, what I say by better the community is by giving a lot of the young people more of a platform to do their music and do something they love to do, to display their art.
Well, right, and so what I took away you meaning by that is anytime you are at an event, whether you're performing or you're listening, you're potentially or supposedly not doing wrongful things.
That's right, and that's one of the main things I talked about. I said I've been doing this for 20 years, being like a artist, manager and a label owner, that I've taken a lot of talent in and recorded them and worked on them projects and stuff. Like, every time I had an artist in my studio, now, like I said, every person I've had in my studio comes from all different walks of life, so that little 5-10 minutes or that hour session I had with that person in there rapping, singing, whatever they were doing, I was keeping them out the street. I was keeping them away from, being on the block, being drug dealers, or out in the clubs, being shooters and stuff like that, because they were spending the time working on their craft that nobody ever believed in.
Right.
And I believed in that, and that hope right there takes people out of an element because they believe they can be somebody bigger. And I look at and my main thing is we can't try to shut this off, because as hip hop people and hip hop artists and urban music, if we take away the access in town to be able to showcase these talents, then that's going to make these people who are in these studios believe ain't no reason to do it. Ain't nobody ever going to hear me.
Sure.
I can't do a show because everybody thinks my music is going to get somebody shot.
Absolutely.
So it takes them to a level of depression. And then, they think it ain't going to matter anyway. I might as well get out here and do this stupid stuff.
So the event at the electric company, it was a DJ event. I don't know if there were any live performers, but it was a hip-hop event, correct? So,
well, no, actually, it was, I think what happened on the 4th, I don't want to misquote it, but I think what happened on the 4th was it was a 4th of July event, but it wasn't, I can't say hip-hop. It was put it like this. It was, and this is the obvious. It was an event thrown more by, the millennial urban crowd. So it was a black event.
All right.
I can't really think of how to, but
sure.
Yeah, it was that, it was hip hop music being played.
Okay, but my question was, how does that affect things going forward? Because
yes,
on Facebook, I actually had to delete comments because I didn't appreciate people saying this. But,
yes,
like people were saying, like, well, what do you expect from an event like that?
Exactly.
And people just aren't as open-minded or as progressively inclined to believe that things can happen where people are doing the right thing.
Exactly.
So, going forward, what does this do for events that you might want to put on, attendance-wise?
What it does is it lessens, the participations, the attendance. Like it gets kind of scarce where people don't want to, show up and stuff because they look at it because they see hip hop now. I was promoting the Summerfest, what I was doing with the Electric, but I had, Colton, one of the owners of the Electric,
Colton.
Yeah, Colton. We had to put a halt to it because he just felt it was too much heat. Now, one thing and Colton's an awesome guy. Like I said, actually, we're doing a show August the 2nd with the Rehab. One of the it's like a hip hop rock band. There and ZUC's actually performing. So we're still doing business together, but my thing is, it in my opinion, I think it kind of scared him off a little bit from the hip-hop crowd because of what happened. And even though, because my event was going to be something that happened in the daytime and it was going to be over by 10, 11 o'clock. So, and it was a festival-based event. But it's just the heat on hip-hop music in general made him back up. And that's what made me think to myself, I'm like, this is the perception. Because he's a rock venue.
Right. And it's for those who don't know, my band played there and we were blown away.
Yeah.
Their setup is incredible.
Oh my gosh.
And it's really sort of a bummer because they're only open when they have live music performing. And I don't think they do too great of a job advertising it.
No.
And so I've been there for 2 shows. One, my band was performing, and then the other time was because Steady Fire, who's been on the show twice, and they want to be on another one, so keep your ears open.
Exactly.
But they performed, and they did great too. But it's a phenomenal event, and it's a bar, but their stage is fantastic. Their sound is easily the best in the county, even better than Newsroom After Hours. And sorry, I just wanted to give them a quick promotion out there because they don't get it. They don't seem to get enough.
Definitely, man, and good people, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do Summerfest there because I felt it gives the vibe of a great summer, hip hop type vibe. I mean, you talk about the bigger cities, you talk about New York, even Cleveland, Columbus, and when they do those platform type of things, and they have these big showcases where they have a big sound stage, all the lighting and stuff, and it gives that artist a different view of their dream. Because my whole thing was to give the Mansfield and the surrounding areas, because I had Marion people, I have people from Marion, Lorraine, surrounding different areas in Ohio to come down that were trying to go to the next level, and I was going to give them that platform to be able to perform in front of a nice crowd, a great stage, good sound, lighting, and that was the purpose of the event. But like I said, it's just the rap right now that hip hop music in general is getting, and that's not what we want to do.
So, I mean, okay, obvious question.
Yeah.
What needs to be done to make it better or to give it a better name?
Well, one of the things we were discussing at this whole council thing, and when we talked about the bars and clubs like that, was police presence.
Sure.
And
I actually have spoken with Chief Kuntz. I don't know if you know this or if listeners know this,
okay,
but I'm the crime reporter for Richland Source.
Nice.
So I'm very comfortable having these conversations.
Yes. Ken Kuntz is actually a college buddy of mine.
Is that right?
We went to Mount Vernon Nazarene, the satellite.
Okay.
Down here on Mid-Ohio.
Yeah.
And I reach out to Ken for a lot of stuff. I mean, he's a good guy. And recently, I remember we were both we were getting killed in some math class in different classes We were getting smashed.
I guess you don't have to do a lot of math when you're the chief of police.
Exactly. Well, he was when we were in the class. He was actually. I remember the day he came in. He was up for it, and he was like, he didn't know. He was like, Ryan, I don't know. This other one's blah blah blah, and I'm like, man, you'll get it, man. And then like about a month later, he walked in there and he got it. Man, he was so happy, and actually now
he told me he had a 4.0 or something. He did really well.
Oh yeah, I mean he was kicking butt, but I think he knows it and I know it. We had this math class called Math Theory, and he remembers the teacher. Like she would get up there and just write numbers on the board and be like, "You don't get that," and we'd be like, "What?"
That sounds like every math class I've ever been in.
Yeah, but definitely, man. Shout out to Ken Coots, man. He's a great guy.
But so Kuntz retired, and his assistant chief, Keith Porch, ended up taking over. And so I spoke with Porch, and he said that he has looked into having a off-duty police officer be allowed to fill in at local bars.
Yes.
But at the moment, it's a department policy that's not allowed because I don't really remember what his exact reasoning was.
Yeah.
But he basically told me that anytime a venue wants to have security and that venue's product or reason for having security is to sell more alcohol, the department has a policy where that's not allowed.
Exactly.
So he did tell me that he was currently looking over things and talking, I think, with either an attorney or his bosses, who would be like Lori Cope, the director of safety services, whether or not that's something that they could do. But there is a portion of the article that Carl wrote, which I left on my desk.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting where the owner, whose name I can't remember,
Steve
of the patio.
Oh, the patio. Okay.
Told the article. I guess he had said it. He said it, and I read it in the article. He didn't tell me anything.
Yeah.
That he made over $100,000 in March, and then the following month after the shooting at the patio, he made $7,000.
Exactly. That's exactly.
And that's struggling for your livelihood.
Yes.
Right. And I don't know if hiring an off-duty police officer is the only answer, but it's certainly a plausible good answer.
Yes.
So. Not to steer the discussion in just about me, but I think that's certainly something worth talking about.
Yes,
what did you hear from the meeting in July?
Well, basically, what they discussed is, it was definitely in discussion about having an off-duty police officer, and that's one of the things Steve talked about because he has other clubs in Columbus and stuff like that about how they will have an off-duty police officer come in there and stuff like that, and then a lot of people in the community will know they'll be plain clothes, but they would know that was a police officer, and by them doing that let them they knew what it was.
Well, yeah, when I wrote the patio story, I spoke with someone who was there during the incident. He was not he was not an employee of the bar, but he was a witness, and he told me that they did attempt to keep the guys out, and they basically forced themselves in. So even having an off-duty police officer who would be able to be like, guys, like, you don't really want to mess with me, would definitely be helpful, because I don't think that these are necessarily gangbangers.
No,
I think they're just people who know that they have a weapon and feel like they're in charge. And I don't think that, like, if someone gave me a gun, I have no gun license.
Yeah, exactly.
But if someone just, like, gave me a gun and said, hey, you're going to watch and make sure that, like, everything is safe as a security guard, like, that's going to do nothing, because I'm not comfortable with those positions.
Exactly.
But you put someone who is professionally trained to handle those situations, and I think there's an immediate relief.
It is.
For everyone there and as an employee, and everyone who's potentially going to be there as a customer.
Because one of the things people want to do is feel safe, and I think a lot of us were trying to say is, like, even when we try to put on events and stuff like that, we want the police or security or some type of presence there that gives these people a thought. Like, I don't care if it's a police car sitting in the parking lot.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, when people...
That visual really sends a message.
That visual, when people go up to the club, that's usually the crap starters, they'll go up there and be like, oh, man, it's police up here. I ain't even, we gotta leave whatever in the car, or we can't even go in there and own it like that.
Right.
Because the police is there. and that either deters them because they know can't nothing happen, or or they'll wisen up and do right, go in there and have a good time. But I've talked to people, and like I said, I work in corrections, and sometimes I pick inmates' brains, and that's made the wrong decision. And I say, like, if you ever been in a club and you ever shot up anything or whatever, I said, what if y'all wanted to have a good event? I'm like, what would you think? He said, well, guys would tell me, like, well, in my city, like, if we had somebody special come in there, they were like, well, if it was some type of drama going on, like, we was like, hey, we just that can wait till tomorrow. Like, we want to have fun, and it's crazy because he said, because it's, the stuff is the streets. He said, but if it was somebody big coming, like, nah, we going to leave all that, somewhere else, and we want to go and have fun. We don't want to ruin it.
So the riffraff only happens when Kendrick Lamar isn't performing. Is that
exactly
what I'm hearing? Okay, interesting.
Exactly. And think about it, you bring a person like a Kendrick Lamar, because Kendrick Lamar brings a certain audience,
right?
And it's not that type of audience.
Well, it's typically the smart thinkers,
yes.
I think.
Yes, and that's the thing, and I'll follow up about that with ZUC. That's why with his listening party allowed certain people to come out, because there was a certain thinkers that respect his music. Like, we don't do a bunch of music that's meant to get you riled up and shoot people in the club. Mm-hmm. We don't do that. So therefore, the people that come is going to be like those Kendrick Lamar type bass, lyrical thinkers and conscious type, stuff like that. And then it's, a lot of the females, the good looking females, and the females that's classy and like want to, hear, because he has songs about females that really uplift them and talk about how classy they are and style and how they look and stuff like that. And so it brings out it's a different vibe.
So, I just forgot what I was going to say. Mm-hmm. We're going to edit this part out. So tell me a little bit about the next time he's going to be performing.
The next time he's going to be performing is we have August 2nd. We're going to be at Club Electric. Electric, the venue, the concert venue.
In Mansfield?
In Mansfield.
That's the Electric Company.
Electric Company. I done gave it 1,000 names over the last week.
No worries.
Without trying to promote
You want to start it over again, and I'll edit it in?
Okay. Yep. So we're going to, August 2nd, we're going to be at the Electric Company, and we're performing with the hip-hop, rock-based Rehab. It's their show, and ZUC's got an actual slot on it. So we're going to be performing about 2 or 3 cuts, and DJ A-Rod's going to do our set, and ZUC's going to perform some songs off the Z the EP album. Once again, that's available on all platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes. Definitely grab that, download it. And we're looking from there to do a few more based events, in the city, and we're booking shows as we go right now. And I'm hoping that, I actually got to go meet Colton, after today, and we're going to try to, move the date further along with this hip hop festival and keep it going.
All right, great. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for coming in and talking a little hip hop and
appreciate it.
And goodwill. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man.